What's going on, brothers? We got another court case here going on. About to chime in here and there throughout the court case. Let me give you some insight real quick. So, brothers, let me say this, brothers. There are a lot of there are some good women out there. I'm not gonna say there's a lot of good women, but there are some good women out there. Okay? Now, this is gonna go under this might be I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a new series, but this is just going to be something to where plant your seed wisely. Okay, brothers, you have to know the woman from the get go. Well, not even from the get go. It takes a lot of time to know who you are dealing with, whether it's a woman, if it's just one of your friends, because but right now we're talking about the woman. I have a lot of women that will turn on you, especially once you have a child with them. That's why it is very wise to find out or investigate the woman that you plan on having a child with. Know that you never really know if she's going to be such a great mother. But with this court case, I feel like this brother should have known about this woman beforehand because she has other children with somebody else. Yet he ended up planting his seed in this woman. Why I don't know. But one thing I will say about this case, he has he currently has a good woman on his side. And there are some good women out there, brothers. It's not a lot. It's like a needle in the haystack, but there are some good women, especially if she's willing to help take care of a child that you have with somebody else. And she'll be right there for you because, you know, women have that maternal DNA. And in order for them to love somebody else besides themselves, because normally most women, especially the ones in America, well, most women, period, are very selfish and they only think about themselves. So the defendant had a good woman. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this court case because it's a lot. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to be pointing out in here that we need to start looking out for, brothers. Okay? So let's go ahead with this court case. I'll be chiming in here and there.
Plaintiff Catherine Tucker has a child with the defendant, and she says last summer the defendant and his new wife kidnapped her daughter and then told CPS that Catherine duct taped her daughter and gave her alcohol. Catherine says all of the claims were unfounded, so she's suing for defamation.
Brother, this is exactly why you need to evaluate your woman before you have a child. Most of these women here, especially here in America, are batshit crazy. So it's going to take a long time to know that woman. Sometimes you're really not going to know who she is until you live with her, because that's when they start to peel back, the onion. You know how you peel back an onion and it get worse and worse. That's how some of these women are in America. They start to peel back the onion. That smell. It gets stronger and stronger. That's pretty much how it is. But let's go ahead and continue.
Defendants Tommy Williams and his wife Kawana say Catherine's mother raised their daughter, not Catherine. And they say the child does not feel safe in Catherine's home. Tommy denies kidnapping his daughter, and they're countersuing for defamation and emotional distress.
Brothers, I don't know if you've noticed, but there are a lot of women that will send their child to the grandmother because they don't feel like taking care of that child. And I don't know, and we're in 2022, almost in 2023, and I have noticed that there are younger and younger grandmothers that are basically taking care of that child while the mother or even the father is out there running around having a good time. It is not the grandparents' job to take care of your child. Nothing wrong with them giving them knowledge, maybe looking after them, maybe 1 or 2 days, maybe just a weekend, but they shouldn't be raising your child throughout while you out there partying, brothers. That's not how it should be going at all. Let's go ahead and continue.
Start with you.
Yes, sir. I'm here because these people right here, the defendants, they kidnapped my daughter in July. They
They
refused to...
kidnapped your daughter?
Yes, sir. Not only was it difficult enough for them not returning my daughter home, but they also made allegations about me abusing my daughter, duct taping her, giving her alcohol, which caused me to lose the removal of my children, my other children from
For
home.
how long?
For about a month for their investigation,
Gotcha.
which was later proven false.
Okay.
Mr. Williams has always been a good father up until this incident. And
What do you think happened?
I think when they became more serious.
So he's been a good father until this incident. Interesting. We have a lot more to go, brothers, because the woman will try to make you look like trash in court. She'll try to make you look like trash in court and make herself look like she's a victim.
More serious, he just changed.
Give me the circumstances under which the alleged kidnapping occurred. How did he get the child?
July 3rd, he picked my daughter up for the 4th of July. And
With your consent?
with my consent, yes, sir. On the 4th of July.
You heard the judge ask the mother with his consent, even though that's also his child. See, the way the court system has it set up is you have to basically you're basically under the woman when it comes to the court system. You have to basically ask the woman for your own child. Your own child, you have to go ask the woman to go see your own child. That's how the court system sets these things up. You're basically reporting to the woman and the state. That's all you're doing. So just keep that in mind, brothers, before you have a child. If this is something that you want to go through.
July, my mom was waiting for my daughter to return home.
Was she supposed to return on the 4th?
On the 4th, yes, sir.
Excuse me, Your Honor. No, she wasn't.
All right, let her give her side.
So after around about 9-ish, my mom told me to give Mr. Williams a call.
You
so
called?
I gave him a call at 9:30 to find out what time he was bringing her home. He told me that I was ruining her fun and that he'll bring her home the next day. So I told him that she was in camp, that he needs to bring her home that night. And he told me if I continue calling, he'll do something to me, was his response. We hung up the phone in the conversation. On the 5th of July, when I got off work, my daughter still wasn't at home. On the 6th of July, I ended up calling Mr. Williams. I didn't get a response. I sent him text messages, nothing. So by this time, I'm terrified. I don't know what to do, because my
So
daughter's supposed to be home.
What do you do?
I went to the police on the 7th.
Okay.
I let them know that he had her in his possession. At the time, I did not know where he stayed, so I couldn't go to his house, and I did an incident report.
Now, you let him take the child. I know it's your shared daughter, but you might at least want to know where he lives.
I understand. Well, the thing is, every year they always move.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Does it say on that child support check where he lives?
No, sir, it comes directly on the card.
All right.
Excuse
Yes,
me, Your
sir.
Honor. Because she don't know.
You see how she was able to lie to the court system? And that's what a lot of females do, or well, we'll just say women. That's what a lot of women do in the court system. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them will lie to make themselves look like the victim. But let's go ahead and continue.
No, because we never dealt with her. We always
Her
dealt
mom.
with Miss Tucker.
She didn't raise those kids. She
never
standing up here.
around.
Her mom
We always dealt with her
had
mom.
those
You want to
children.
say something? Come on up. State your name.
Yes, sir.
What
My
do you
name
wanna
is
tell me?
Melvina Tucker, and I'm Catherine's mother. They're correct. They always did deal with me, but he knew he was supposed to bring her back.
How did they always deal with you?
She was living with me.
Oh, the mom. They didn't want to deal with her because
Each
of
other.
acrimony.
They couldn't get along with each
Gotcha.
other.
No, sir,
So
that's not true.
Would you be quiet? I'm not talking to you.
Go ahead.
So
Y'all already see the grandmother, you see how well, they kind of both disrespectful, but you see where she get it from. You see where the mother gets her nonsense from. So let's go ahead and continue.
the bottom line is, Your Honor, is that she stayed with me, just like her other children did. He always picked her up from my house. He always returned her to my house. So we still, even when the police called them, they did not respond till 2 days later. When they responded, it wasn't Mr. Williams that called. It was her.
Saying what?
They wanted to know what was going on, why she reported a missing child after 7 days. And nobody's calling. And she's calling his people as well, and nobody's not saying anything.
How was it resolved?
Go ahead.
After a month of investigating with DHR, it was resolved that there was no evidence.
Now that's the part I missed. They called Department
of Human Resources on me, yes, sir.
Hold on. You wanted your child back.
I wanted my child back.
You went to the police.
I went to the police.
The police contacted them.
The police contacted them.
On the 7th?
On the 7th was the first call. Miss Kawana, she contacted Detective back on the 11th. And that's when all these allegations end up coming out.
And do you have a letter showing that it was...
Yes, sir, I do.
Unfounded? Okay, what do you all want to tell me about this thus far?
Excuse me. Your Honor, when we first started off, she knew on the 3rd, when I picked up Melissa on the 3rd, that how long I was going to have her, because I told her on the phone.
How long did you tell her?
I told her I was going to have her after I got through getting married, which was on the 14th, so we was going to return her back that Sunday. Okay, after I get the phone call that after the wedding, because she was trying to stop my wedding, I get the phone call saying from the detective talked to me, not Kawana.
You never heard anything from
I talked to her on...
Listen. She says as of July 4th or 5th, they were calling you. You are sounding as if, and maybe I'm misunderstanding you, is that the first time you heard anything was on July 15th, because it was well known between the two of you all that it would be after your wedding. So had you ever heard from them prior to the July 14th or 15th?
I talked to her on the, was it 4th?
The 4th of July.
4th of July.
About what?
She asked me what was Melissa doing. I said I had bought them the big slide.
When did she first ask for your daughter to be returned to her?
She didn't say.
The 4th.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
She didn't say that, Your Honor.
All right. Do you know of her having to go to camp?
Yes, I knew her.
You were going to take the child to camp?
No, because she said they don't do nothing at camp but play. That I was
that's
able.
my point. So she canceled camp. Did she cancel camp?
Nah, she didn't cancel.
Okay, so you kept the child from going to camp.
Yeah.
Let me say something real quick, brother. When you go inside the court, you got to be able to stand your ground and answer the questions correctly. I've been to court, so they can trip you. The lawyer or the judge can trip you up, but you got to stand your ground. And so let me give you an example. If a lawyer asks you, do you know what time it is? All you got to do is answer yes or no. You don't have to tell the judge what time it is. If a judge or a lawyer says, what time, do you know what time it is? Just say yes. And then wait for the next question. Let's continue.
May I
Why
speak,
did
Your
you
Honor?
keep the child from going to camp?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
He's a little nervous.
Go ahead.
On the 4th, we picked Melissa up on the 3rd. When I went to her home to pick Melissa up, Melissa had a burn in her face. I asked her, what happened? She said, I don't know. He asked Melissa. He even told Melissa he would put Melissa in time out if she did not tell him what happened to her face. To this day, sir, we don't know what happened to her face.
Is this true?
I have pictures.
Is this true?
Yes, sir.
No, ma'am.
She did have a burn mark on her face, yes, sir.
Who did you ask?
I asked the grandmother. Mr. Williams called Catherine on the 4th when we were supposed to take Melissa
Ask
home.
about the burn?
Yes, sir.
What was he told?
That's a lie, Your Honor.
When we were supposed to take Melissa home
All right,
on the
let's
4th,
cut through this. Who asked you about the burn?
DHR.
Pardon me?
DHR brought it up.
she lying.
Okay, was there a burn on her face?
It was a burn mark on her face,
Where did
yes,
it
sir.
come from?
Boiling eggs.
Was it
From what DHR was said. DHR.
No.
Oh.
She had a burn on her face. Where did it come from? Tell me. Do you know? Let's hold on,
The burn
Grandma.
mark came from when she was returned home after they came from the beach. Melissa did have a scrape on her
And
face.
what date was that approximately?
In June.
The
But
mark in question that the mark that we're discussing right now was it on her face before she went with them?
Yes.
Where did it come from?
The only thing that I know is when they returned her from the beach.
No, we're talking. You remember
I
we
don't
just
know.
said, oh, so
When
she
I
was in
asked
your
Melissa,
custody and you don't know how she got the burn.
No, sir.
Thank you very much.
Brothers, brothers, I've said this before. You need to, when it comes, you better plant your seed wisely. Because you don't know, I'm telling you, a lot of these women are batshit crazy. You have a lot of these other women that have no idea how to be a mother or a wife. They are not, these women, especially in America, they're not raised that way. They are raised to compete with you. The judge asked her what happened to the burn mark on her face, and she has no clue. So that tells you that she's not even raising this child. The grandmother is there, is around, is raising the child while she's out there probably running the streets. Brothers, I'm not going to blame her. I mean, I can, but I'm not going to, because if you understand the woman, then you'll understand that they have a childlike mentality. They want to run the streets. They don't really want to be mothers, and she has other children. But let's continue, because we about to find out what happened to her face.
Do you know?
Yes, I do.
How?
We were in the kitchen boiling eggs, and when she went to take the egg out, the water splashed. Okay. And that's how she got
Let's see the picture.
Here you go, sir.
And her mother didn't even bother to ask.
She was with me.
Oh, she never saw her mother ever?
No.
No. Let her tell. Ma'am, talk to me. Did she ever? This is not funny. Her mother not even knowing how she got a burn on her face. Nothing funny about that.
I was not laughing.
You were laughing at something having to do with this case, and that's what this case is about. Go ahead. What else?
And let me say this: the reason why I love Judge Mathis is because even though sometimes he kind of gives some of these women a slap on the wrist, when it comes to other stuff like this, to children, he gonna get on them. Or he's very direct. That's one thing I like about Judge Mathis. He's very direct with his questions. He ain't veering off too much. Not too much. But let's go ahead and continue.
What else you want me to know?
What I was gonna show you is, well, can I tell you first if that's okay? We asked Melissa if she wanted to go home. Melissa said she did not. Melissa said, if you take me home, Daddy, they're not gonna let me come back.
Approximately when did she tell you this?
This was the 4th of July. I have a statement here that she gave to DHR that she is fearful of the
daughter?
home. Melissa.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, brothers. Again, there are some good women out there. Not many, because it's probably a needle in the haystack, but there are some good women. So if you have a good woman, keep her. Because this brother here has somebody that's helping him out. Because if it wasn't for her, he would probably look at like a jackass in this courtroom. Because when he started speaking, he couldn't speak very well. He was not very articulate. So he has a good woman on his side. Again, brothers, plant your seed wisely. Because I keep telling you, a lot of these women, especially in America, are batshit crazy. Let's continue.
It's at the top, Your Honor. That came from DHR. That's a safety plan.
Melissa is fearful of the home situation at Miss Catherine Tucker's home.
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I say something else?
Yeah.
Melissa has been trying not to go live with Miss Catherine. Tommy sat and talked with the grandmother and asked her if she would keep Melissa and he would get the check taken out of Catherine's name and put into her name. She didn't want to do that.
Okay.
We have here police reports from Catherine and her boyfriend with gun involvements, chasing down the street naked, beating her while she was pregnant. I have all that right here. Would you like to see it?
Yes, please. And you want to know why they called child services on you? Did you know that the daughter said she didn't want to go back home to you all?
Brother, this could go under the category of protect your seed too. It's very important. I'm going to continue to say it, brothers. Plant your seed wisely. A lot of these females in America are batshit crazy. Can't make this up.
She did not
That
tell
she
me
was
that.
fearful.
No, sir.
Yeah, I know you wasn't around. I'm sorry. I'm
wasn't
asking the wrong person.
You weren't around.
Ma'am, do you know that she said she was fearful
No, sir.
of going back?
No,
Okay,
sir.
she did. I'm looking at the.
She also said she didn't want to be with them.
Excuse me.
Okay. All right. I don't see that.
Prove it.
I don't see that. I see
was
what she
after-
said. She doesn't want to go to you guys.
And
What do
excuse me, Your Honor.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
What is it you want to show me?
Melissa,
No. You said you have something there. She gave me her letter. Why don't you just read it for me? That part.
I don't want to read the whole.
No, just read the part where she said she doesn't want to stay with them.
She didn't want to go with them from
No,
day.
read it then.
Yeah.
You said you have it. Read it.
Okay.
I'm sorry? Do you have it in that letter? Because you told me you did.
I asked Melissa.
No. Do you have it
No,
in?
sir.
Thank you very much. So you misled me. All right. These police reports, while deputies were on the scene, offender pulled up in the passenger seat of his mother's vehicle. Offender was seen placing something under the seat. While deputies were escorting him to the patrol, offender jerked away and started to run from the deputies. She stated she tried to resist but burned her arm on a cigarette. She stated that she thought, that's one. Deputies were dispatched, came home after drinking. And how did they defame you guys?
Well, she didn't get upset until Tommy told her about Melissa saying that her boyfriend duct taped her, kicked her off the bed.
Who said this?
This is
My
coming
daughter.
from Melissa,
My
talking to
daughter
her
told-
father.
Said,
That her boyfriend duct taped her and kicked her off the bed. They were supposed to be playing. Melissa said she was on the floor crying.
That's
and
a
Miss
lie.
Catherine told her, get up. He just playing with you. She
That's a
said
lie,
she
Your
is
Honor.
scared of him.
we understand
Okay.
all that. That's why the child said she didn't want to go
so
back
when he
home.
talked
I'm
with
clear
her
on that.
on the 4th,
What have they done to you guys?
because she called and said we kidnapped. How can you kidnap a child that belongs to you?
Okay, all right.
And you do this around the wedding time. Sir, we got married out of town. We left on the 13th. When we came back on the 15th, those were the messages from the detective on our phones about the kidnapping. We did not call DHR.
Did you
The detectives
communicate
called
with her
DHR.
after July 4th when you were to have brought the child home?
Yes. You told her about the burn in the
Yeah.
face.
Okay, and what was her response?
She ain't know.
She
again?
ain't know.
Yeah, you're right. Same thing she just told
I
me.
talked to her grandma. I
Yeah.
told her grandma that she was fearful.
These are the facts that I've heard. One, from the plaintiff, I am told that on July 3rd, the child went with her father. The father was supposed to return her July 4th. Then the father didn't return her, so he went to the police. And the police got involved, and the police discovered that the child had burns, and the police had child services interview the child. And the child said she didn't want to come home to you guys. He said that he called and asked how the child got the burns on her face. And you said you didn't know.
It was June when Melissa.
Whenever it was, ma'am.
I understand.
No. You can't say anything else. I've heard all the testimony
sir.
I need to hear. And that is that you called the police on this man saying he had kidnapped his own daughter, even though the daughter he said he kept because she had a burn on her face. He also kept the daughter. The daughter said she didn't want to go home to you all because you were abusive toward her.
But
So you filed a false
No, sir.
kidnapping claim against them, I'm going to conclude. And with regard to your counterclaim for defamation and emotional distress, I'm going to grant you your $3,000 for that false allegation of kidnapping that you had to endure. And secondly, ma'am, as I said, with regard to your claim, it's dismissed. They didn't
I
kidnap
did.
your child. They
Sir.
tried to get assistance from your child. And you can, sir, your child didn't want to be with you. Your own child
Sir,
said,
they
I'm
didn't
not
file
going
that
back
until
over
after they
there.
got
Have a good
married.
day. Bye-bye.
You just want my husband, that's all it is. You just want my husband, that's all it is.
Nobody.
Go on, Granny.
Ma.
Don't come over here now. I'm telling you, girl, this ain't what you want.
Ma.
I'm telling you, don't come over here now.
No, Ma, no.
I'm telling you now.
We're not finna do
I'm
that.
telling
Ma.
you now.
Oh, no, we not finna do that.
Nah.
Come on, bro. You got to get your wifey, man. Come on. She ain't got to be a little bit ratchet like that. But, brothers, hey, look, the brother got a good woman on his side. So, brothers, if you got a good woman and she's very supportive of you, don't let her go. That's a good woman right there. That's supportive. You don't find too many of those here at all. I'm telling you, it's like a needle in a haystack.
Nah, yeah. You know, Tommy a good man and you messed it up. I see you.
But why you still calling her?
You
Call her
call
for
who?
what? He calling
Why
you,
you
Brandon.
still
He calling you.
her?
Calling for who?
This was a serious situation. Judge Mathis, you are the best. Anytime you need us to come back, we'll be willing to.
Man, if you don't get your ass up with them crocodile tears, now you want to start crying. You deserve that. Sometimes, brothers, a lot of times these females need to be shamed. They have to be embarrassed because they walk around here with their head up high like they untouchable. There are a lot of them need to be shamed. Again, brothers, plant your seed wisely. Plant your seed wisely. On that note, I'm done. I'll be easy.